bell sounds. Brad Stutts and Cecil Scott are in the booth. Welcome to CWF Worldwide. And Cecil, the problems between Arik Royal and the Riot continue as the Lost Cause Nick Richards about to go one-on-one with Royal, but very interesting to note that the rest of the Riot, Aric Andrews and Lee Valiant, have sent Richards to the ring tonight alone.
Arik Royal's got issues with the Riot, but it seems like there might be some internal issues within the Riot.
Don't try that. Better than that.
There very well might be. Royal talking a lot of smack to Richards in the opening moments.
A lot of smack, but Richards seems a lot more cautious than I'm used to seeing.
What I was going to say was he does seem cautious, but you look at his face, you look at his body language, he almost looks conflicted.
Right. And he wants to fight. That's one thing Richards will always do. But we've seen conflict in the eyes of Nick Richards. It was 2 weeks ago where he stopped an attack on your wife. He stepped in and intervened.
Me and Richards have a lot of history together, and I appreciate him doing that. I don't know what's going on in Richards' head. You know, I used to think of him like a little brother. We don't really talk much anymore, to be honest. But he has been sent here to go one-on-one with Arik Royal. Is it about proving something to the Riot, or is it about proving something to himself?
Yeah, possibly to himself. It's a case where Richards, he's been kind of the third wheel in the Riot, so to speak, or maybe the fourth wheel if you consider Zane Dawson. He's been kind of the whipping boy for Lee Valiant. And
you're thinking too hard on this.
One thing we know about Richards, if he feels like a situation isn't working for him, he usually does something about it.
Richards charges full speed ahead at Royal.
Yeah, nice go behind.
He's so big and so strong, I don't know if I would necessarily charge right at Royal.
Well, Richards knows one speed. He knows how to fight. And sometimes you got to take a few shots to get your own in.
Come on, Nick.
Richards has done that maybe as much as anybody in CWF Mid-Atlantic, trying to navigate out here. Those strong arms of Arik Royal are wrapped around his body.
He actually did the right thing there. Elevate those hips. He's going to try to trap that arm and roll out. Nice move.
Richards standing toe-to-toe and hold for hold here with the ace of CWF Mid-Atlantic. Very uncharacteristic of Richards, who has been absolutely a formless brawler, really for, what, 2.5 years now at CWF Mid-Atlantic.
Right, it's very interesting. He spent so much time in his formative years trying to become a better wrestler and then abandoned every last bit of it. But we see glimpses of it, just like there, where it's still there.
Richards has said on multiple occasions that pro wrestling broke his heart, that it is a mistress that will not love him. Doesn't even show the respect to the fans and to his opponents of changing his clothes before coming into battle here at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium. Literally just wrestles in whatever he's wearing. Ooh, Royal chopping the chest of Richards.
Right, and if you're getting into a fist fight, Arik Royal is not going to lose a fist fight.
Not at all.
Richards, he needs to wrestle the man. I kind of have news for Richards, though. Wrestling is always a one-way relationship.
Royal trying to slip out of it.
Hey, that's the case for a lot of guys.
Richards going to the ropes here. Royal trying to cover up. He's taking some of the best shots Richards can give. He tried to cover up. Richards might have tagged him a couple of times anyway.
And it pushed him right back in the corner again.
And firing away is the Lost Cause Nick Richards. I gotta believe, you know, I don't know what the Riot, what Lee Valiant is telling Richards, but I gotta believe Richards has got something to prove to himself here. Arik Royal not in the second rope. Arik Royal is standing over the Lost Cause and raining down punches with that big left hand.
And he's going to get the full dime here. Oh, Richards is out on his feet. Oh, and now out on his back.
Big left hook. And down he goes.
Cover. Richards slipped out pretty easily on that. I think Royal knew he didn't quite have him. And you're right. I think Richards is trying to prove something to himself more than the other members of the Riot.
At one point, this guy was touted as a future star. He was talked about in the same breath as, you know, Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett, and at the time the Chiva Kid, you know, there were 4 or 5 guys. Roy Wilkins was coming up in that time. Arik Royal came up in kind of in those same years. There was a group of amazing young talent coming up in the Mid-Atlantic all at the same time a few years ago. Richards, at one time, was grouped in with that talent. And a lot of them, like Trevor Lee, Andrew Everett, Adam Page, cover here from Royal, have kind of left Richards in the dust.
Right, and a lot of that's kind of his own fault. And I wouldn't say it's like, you know, he didn't have the skills, as he made some bad choices.
He's always been his own worst enemy for as long as I've known Richards. He has always been his own worst enemy. Royal firing away.
And, you know, and I've always felt like he kind of carried a chip on his shoulder. He always kind of had the biggest hurdle to climb out of that group. He didn't have the athleticism of a Trevor Lee or an Andrew Everett. He had to work the hardest to get to where he's at. And I think maybe in a way he felt like he was owed something.
And I think at one point he seemed to find a niche in wrestling that more chaotic style. How many brain cells and blood cells has Richards left on the floor of the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium over the years? I really think in a lot of ways, Richards felt like that was his best way to get noticed. Oh, body-to-body contact sends Royal hard to the floor. I think in a lot of ways, Richards felt like that was his best way to get noticed. That was his best way to break out of the pack, was to wrestle those chaotic matches, those wild matches. We're not seeing that here against Royal. I reiterate again, Richards is on the floor right now, but Richards is wrestling Arik Royal like he's got something to prove that pack that was all coming up together at the same time in the Mid-Atlantic did not leave him far behind, that he can still hang with one of the best of them.
Right, and right now he is actually controlling the ace, Arik Royal. He put him right in the post a moment ago.
Royal fighting up.
Royal impossible to keep down.
Yeah, Royal is so strong and so fast. It's something to even have him in a defensive position for any length of time.
Royal was on his knees and just muscled Richards back in the ring.
That's right. 32.
Uh-oh, could be a cactus elbow. We could be seeing shades of the Nick Richards that we have seen in the past few years. And look at the look in his eyes. That look of coldness. That look of bitterness in Richards' eyes. And Richards taking that belt off.
He's flirting with a DQ, as if he cares.
Free King Justice is trying to wrestle that belt away from Richards. They choking him around the throat with it.
And King Justice giving him a lot of leeway.
I was never worried about, bro.
Well, you know, let's say he doesn't care about a DQ, but does he?
In this match, I think he does. Look at him, he's trying to get Royal back in the ring. Royal using the side of the ring to help himself, to propel himself. Oh, big running stomp in the face.
It wasn't pretty like a Trevor Lee field goal kick. He just stomped him right in the nose.
He's down again. Is Richards gonna fly again? Oh my God!
Twice now. And just think of the damage he's done to his own hips, his own knees when he does that.
A wild man that lives inside Richards is coming out in this one. A third cactus elbow. He dove into the chairs. Royal is down and hurt. Richards getting right up in the face of the ringside fans. And this is that cold, dangerous Nick Richards that we have been seeing for the past several years coming out. Whatever game plan he had at the start of this matchup, Richards is abandoning, and he's literally, he fits right into the Riot with this game plan.
Right, you kind of slip back into what you know, and that's what Richards has done here. But King Justice has got to make a decision here and start putting a countdown.
Well, they've broken the count a couple of times as Richards was nailing all those cactus elbows. He would slip in and beat the count occasionally. Cover, only got 2.
How rarely do you see Arik Royal actually get caught in a 2 count?
Richards got both arms butterflied. Crowd is coming up for Royal.
With the old tombstone stretch here.
Doing what he can.
10 minutes has expired. 5 minutes remaining.
That's pulling back on the pectorals and the rotator cuff. But Arik Royal breaks loose.
Oh boy! Sent Richards hard to the mat.
Here comes that freight train, Arik Royal.
Yes, it is. Oh, Richards avoids it. Oh, he avoids two of them. Oh, back elbow. Just sent the former Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion down. Cover. 2-2.
Man, Richards he's wrestled a great match.
Royal down in the buckle. Richards standing over, and Royal continues to fight, though. There will never be a moment that Royal does not continue to fight.
Yeah, but it's hard to fight when you're on the bottom like that. He's back vertical, and that shot caught his attention.
Richards is still pursuing, though. Oh, boy. Huge belly to back. Dropped him right on his head. Both men down in the center of the ring. What a contest we are seeing this week on CWF Worldwide. Two graduates of the Mid-Atlantic Dojo.
Man, nice defensive move there.
Needless to say, we're a little more proud of Royal than we are of Richards.
Yeah, well, you know, when you've held the belt for over a year, that does happen. Wait a minute.
Oh, he's trying Royal's own clubbing blow against him. Didn't work.
No, sir.
Richards down to the floor. Royal standing tall.
What's Royal got here?
Is the ace of CWF gonna fly here? Oh! Oh, the body weight comes crashing down on the chest and the sternum of Nick Richards.
I don't know if it was a knee or more of a leg lariat, but either way, it was all Arik Royal's weight.
Yeah, it was just all the body weight, almost like a standing desk press. Just came crashing down. Richards rolling to the ring now. Oh, he got caught.
Oh, look at the power.
Great show of strength from Royal. Cover. 2-2.
Man, Richards able to kick out of that.
A great show of strength from the former Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. He had Richards' body weight in his hands, and Royal was in firm control of all of it.
And Richards able to turn it back around, though. Going for that elbow again. No dice.
Sidestep. Claw slam into the center of the ring. Only got two.
That was close.
Frustration setting in a little bit on the former Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, Arik Royal.
Going up top.
Very uncharacteristic of the former Mid-Atlantic champ, the ace of CWF Mid-Atlantic, who earned that title at Battlecade of last year against Ric Converse. 250 pound cross body.
Richards out again. We only see Arik Royal go up top when he gets desperate.
Royal still has a lot of big
2 minutes
offensive.
remain. 2 minutes.
Royal still has a lot of big offensive maneuvers to unload here. Boom! Richards dropped him face first, going for the counter mutilation.
Hooked it.
Got him, counter mutilation in the center of the ring.
How long has it been since we've seen Richards use the counter mutilation?
Royal has got to figure out a way out of it. Oh, great athleticism.
Oh,
Didn't get it.
I thought he caught Richards napping there.
Royal is poised. Richards hits the cutter with 90 seconds remaining. Richards beat him. I absolutely thought Richards just beat Arik Royal clean in the center of the ring.
Man, what an upset that would have been.
Yeah, after the past few years of Richards' career, it really would be. Richards.
Setting up another.
Oh, he got caught. Oh, he got caught. Royal. Oh, boy.
60 seconds remaining.
Royal's going to use the ropes to its advantage. He pops it right in the face. Twice. 3 times. Royal cannot be stopped here.
45 seconds remaining.
And Richards is down. Royal is standing tall, but time is becoming of the essence here. Royal is poised, ready to strike.
We get the tackle. Is it the sit kick?
Whoa!
He seemed to orbit and then some with that tackle.
Oh, if Richards could have avoided it, he might have survived. 2, 3. Richards fought with everything he had, but it was not enough against the ace of CWF Mid-Atlantic. contest to kick us off this week on CWF Worldwide.
14 minutes, 40 seconds, your winner by pinfall, Arik Royal!
Keep cheering for those losers. That's right. Grant, I told you, can't nobody in this place touching me. You got that? You hear that? We've been telling the whole time, Brad. We've been telling you the whole time. You don't need them, Nick. You don't need them. What? You don't need them, Nick. And you know that. That's what you're struggling with. You know you don't need them. You know that. What am I doing? What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. What? What are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, he's not joining in, but he's not helping either.
But Ryan has hit the ring.
You ruined my life, just like this. You ruined it. You used to be my best friend. You was my boy. Now look at you, a puppet. Look at you. You ain't nothing. Look at you.
What is on Valiant's case? Talking all kinds of smack to the ace of CWF Mid-Atlantic. And Royal's coming up. Oh, the knee trembler. Oh my God, the knee trembler from the enforcer of the Riot.
You want it personal? Huh, brother? You want it personal? Come on. Take that home to your mama. Tell her I said hi. Hop in here. Get in here. Can't believe it. Tossed at me.
Hey, you're a loser.
Get in here, I'll break your jaw.
You're a loser anyway, man.